if you take it seriously, you put in the work, you get the right tools, I think it's possible for you to really do whatever it is that you want to do. Whether it's stopping biting your nails, quitting smoking, losing weight, getting rid of a food addiction. It's possible. Even with it's crazy, right? So I was at the gym the other day and I just happened to overhear a conversation. I guess some law changed where you have to put in your ID to view these adult websites now.
Oh, okay.
And these people in the gym are literally talking about how are we gonna get around this, right? And I'm thinking in my head, I've never faced a problem like that, right? But I bite my nails. Everyone's going through something.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's a problem for them. Not saying that's a problem, but when you're ready to address the issue, I would say something like hypnosis can be a fresh perspective. Because I had tried multiple different types of therapies: talk therapy, CBT, which are the two kind of really most recommended in traditional mainstream therapies. But I think hypnosis actually created more awareness than the other therapies overall, and was actually more applicable, right? Less theoretical, with us being able to go back and kind of even look at how I was feeling short on breath, and we were going into when I had gotten dunked underwater and stuff like that, and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that's where that came from. And so I would have never found that with the traditional stuff.
Wow. Just thinking about how many people you're helping by saying that. And you're right. Welcome to the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss podcast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. So sometimes on my podcast, I like to bring in clients and interview them on their experience, because one thing that I've learned is that when people hear that you do hypnosis, I've actually heard it more since I've been involved with the dental community, that they have been interested in hypnosis. They've been wanting to experience hypnosis, but they never knew anyone who actually did it, because it is kind of a vulnerable, and you kind of got to know who you're working with.
Right.
So I am grateful that you're willing to share your experience so that other people can get an idea of what it actually feels like, the results that you got as a result of working with me as your hypnotherapist. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Equally as grateful you're able to use your knowledge to help me with problems that I've kind of had for a while. So it was a pleasure to be able to work together.
Oh, that's so nice. Make sure you talk into the mic, because we want to hear your amazing voice, because it's a very nice voice. So first, if we could, Vimal, if you could say who you are and what you do for a living and what brought you to my doorstep for hypnosis.
Yeah, so my name's Vimal. I actually own 2 dental marketing agencies. I met Leslie actually at the dental festival down in Key West, and had heard great things, but ironically, you had that table, and we just somehow winded up linking up on the little lightsaber things, and I was
that's true.
Really dead set on turning them on, handing them out, and making sure that all of it was in the content. And then through that, I'm like, well, what is this that I'm even waving around? And I felt like it was such a happenstance moment, and I was like, I'm just gonna totally roll with this. And when I found out what it is that you actually do, how it helps people, and that really your focus is on helping professionals, entrepreneurs specifically, with the battles that they face as they grow, as they scale, as they deal with people. And there's that term that you would always use is getting back to the best performance, right? It's always trying to get back to the best performing version of yourself so that you can tackle those tasks, which was intriguing to me, and what I was like, yeah, I want to be the best version of myself.
Yes. Absolutely. I appreciate you saying that. And yes, the lightsaber thing, I forgot that was a thing, but we kind of did connect over that because, anyway, brought in the lightsabers just as a fun party thing for people at this dental event, and the fact that you cared very much about getting those in the mix, and also wanted to become the best version of yourself. It all met up there, so I appreciate that.
Right.
And I know that initially, though, prior to us kind of having conversation about being the best version of yourself, which, by the way, I respect the work you do so much, and the service, you do incredible work. If anyone needs help with marketing their digital and dental stuff, hit up Vimal. We'll make sure that we have whatever you need in the show notes for people to find you. What is your company?
Digital Floss
Digital
Agency.
Floss. It's
Yes.
incredible. The footage and just the quality of humans that work on your team, yourself included. I'm blown away. So thank you for that. So what did you initially approach me about, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, so it was actually something that I'm extremely vulnerable about, kind of, in that moment, and it was my nail biting.
Yeah.
It's something that would cause a lot of like self-consciousness. I knew it was something that for me was something that if it just wasn't on my mind, or that extra thing I didn't have to think about, it would just make it a lot easier for me. So it's a lifelong habit, and I was curious to just see, could hypnosis really work, and what it was. And that's kind of where things started. But I think where we winded up shifting throughout our work together was much more impactful than that surface kind of layer, which is, it's still important. It's still something that I think that, it was a big initial draw, something that you've helped me foundationally with. But the other things like a timeline therapy and the reparenting, some of those things where you learn how to just be a whole lot nicer to yourself is very helpful as someone who's kind of constantly under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we forgot to also share that we ended up on the same airplane before you
That's
became
true.
an official client on the way back from
Right.
Dental Fest. And we actually did some neurolinguistic programming stuff to help you with the nail biting. And you did initially had a shift from that. Is that right?
Yeah, it was immediate. Yeah, and the first couple times that you said that NLP, I was thinking of like Jeremy Minor, and he has like some little keyword where he says like NLP, and it's like about sales tactics and closing, and I'm like, wow, I did wonder how this is going to help me stop biting my nails. But then once I understood the principle behind it, what it meant, that to actually go in and reprogram some of these, pretty hardwired things that are in your brain, I was definitely interested in finding out more. And that first little bit definitely hooked me on the airplane, where we were immediately able to kind of do the the real visual kind of thing with the hand, and imagine kind of different things, and I could see immediately how this would retrain.
I'm so glad that, yeah, you had that. And sometimes you do need that initial experience to kind of be like, all right, this can actually work. Because when it's been such a long time habit for people, it becomes hard to believe that you could ever actually, especially since you were probably tried all the things to try to make it stop and not
Hmm.
happen. I sucked my thumb as a little girl for many, many years. And so that was embarrassing, right? And,
Makes two of us.
oh, cool, nice, right? So my mom, like, they try to put socks on my hands, they put the nail polish on, and a lot of people, they do find me for weight loss, and so it's like you come already you've tried everything to stop it, and you've Googled it, you've searched it, you've done it, right? What were some of the things you tried to stop nail biting?
So the stop biting nail polish stuff.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, my mom would yell at me and, hit my hand. My
yeah,
partner would, pull my hand out of my mouth, just those kinds of things. But
right,
ultimately, it was such an unconscious habit
yes,
that none of that helped. Yeah, you can move my hand away, or, you could say, yeah, why are you doing that? But at the end of the day, it's not something that I'm actively doing. It's a passive habit that we kind of figured out was, more of me kind of trying to manipulate and control,
yeah.
and feel like I'm working when I'm having to do tasks that don't feel productive to me and things like that. So how those kind of snakes wind and intertwine is very interesting.
Yeah, and so with neurolinguistic programming, it's really the process of how to become extraordinary in every single area of life. And so when we have these certain habits or behaviors, whether it's nail biting or emotional eating or alcohol or, even, some people porn kind of stuff or whatever we do to cope, right?
Sure.
It's like they're, deeply, shameful. We have the best intentions. We don't want to do these habits. But it's through the process of kind of unpacking what's underneath the surface of that actually we can experience that result. And part of that is getting rid of just the shame about the fact that it's happening in the first place. So I'm curious, like, when you would catch yourself after doing this unconscious behavior for so long, like, what was that like for you? Were you beating yourself up, or what was it like for you?
Initially, that was what it was. That again, that's what brought me to. There's just the shame around it, and the kind of the helpless feeling around, I don't want that, and feeling like people are looking at me and judging me and different things, which is just the surface layer of even more, that kind of goes on. But to answer your question, the real foundational piece, I think that I understood was, let's remove the negativity around the bad habit
Yes.
first. Let's not label this. Let's not make it. And the second thing was, let's encounter each instance as its own. Let's not, turn it all into, oh, I always bite my nails and I'm a bad person. It's okay. This is a byproduct of whatever is going on. So let's investigate each situation and figure out how we can continue to unpack this on each and every occurrence, and continue to do the work, and just see what happens.
Yes, thank you. That's going to help so many people, because that's a question, a common thing is like, oh, hypnosis, you're going to snap your fingers and it's going to be completely gone. For some people, that is the case. It really depends on how ready someone is to let it go. And the role of the unconscious mind is to keep us safe. And so there's something in the unconscious that literally thinks that biting my nails is how I'm going to stay safe. And so for some other people like yourself, right, that we start doing the work and you get that instant like, oh, shift, right, as the result of doing the process. But then there is the opportunity to, it's like, okay, but we need to, over time, like you said, by isolating each event that it's happening and not making it wrong and bad and judging yourself for it, do what we need to do and, create the mind shifts necessary and use the other NLP tools that I have to really loosen the grip on it so that your unconscious mind feels safe enough to continue to let it go. And my hope for my clients is that you can actually get excited about the process of learning more about this habit that you've had for so long, because it translates over into actually you producing more results in your career, in your leadership, in your life. So could you share a little bit more on that part for you?
Yes. I think any either problem that or uncomfortable feeling, uncertainty, or whatever someone's going through, or challenge that they're facing, definitely starts somewhere, and you may not even realize where it's at, and then those things layer and build, and they slowly kind of turn into who you are, right? And what it starts with is the awareness, right, of what's actually going on, right? Why are you feeling these feelings? What are the things you can do about the feelings that you're feeling, right?
Yes.
And then how can you take that awareness and then apply that to each and every time that it happens, to become more and more aware, to the point where you have that kind of freedom to make the decision around whatever it is that you are, currently facing.
Yes, I think you put it so perfectly. It's like, number one, the awareness. Number two, the tool that you could use, right? That I teach and have the app to provide the stuff you could practice, like you mentioned, time on therapy and reparenting and all those different things at home. And then, yes, through the repetition, right, is how we can continue to do that. For an example, for anyone listening, I remember, if you don't mind sharing, just the belief that you had of like, I am responsible. And I see this so much, especially with highly driven, amazing, successful humans, that they do have unconsciously this belief. They made some decision at some point in their life that I am responsible. And it puts so much pressure on them. And it actually, when left unlooked at, it actually is the source of a lot of disease in people. So I really am so glad when clients like yourself come and they actually get help, because it's like, okay, it's just like a dumb habit. You might judge it, but it's like, it's actually so important that you actually take it seriously, because it's basically your unconscious mind knocking on the door saying, hey, look at me, like something. Anyway, so by us actually recognizing like, oh, every time that I feel I'm responsible, that pressure and anxiety builds up, and now I'm biting my nails. And so again, we just gotta break up that
those
process, and those thought patterns,
absolutely,
using everything that we do. So, oh my gosh, I love that. So what was, I know you had some breakthroughs in your leadership and like at work as well, and also in relationship life.
Right.
Do you want to share about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I remember on the plane, right, we were like, okay, how are things going overall? And, I kind of shared personally what, my relationship life was like and how I had not prioritized it. And, now here we are just a couple months later, and things have drastically changed, right? So that was intention, I think, that I set around that. And
Yes.
so it really goes into anything that you want to tackle or any problem that you face or anything that you prioritize, right? So fixing things about yourself. I'm going to be 100% honest. I say this with all, kind of good heart. It's not always the best time to do it. Sometimes you have to buckle down. You have to kind of eat what's going on, take the punches in the face, get through it, right? But there are times where you have to work on yourself,
Yes.
or you will never progress.
Yep.
You're not going to get to the next level. You're not going to see those next doors open. And when those times come around, if you take it seriously, you put in the work, you get the right tools, I think it's possible for you to really do whatever it is that you want to do. Whether it's stopping biting your nails, quitting smoking, losing weight, getting rid of a food addiction. It's possible. Even with it's crazy, right? So I was at the gym the other day and I just happened to overhear a conversation. I guess some law changed where you have to put in your ID to view these adult websites now.
Oh, okay.
And these people in the gym are literally like talking about like, how are we gonna get around this, right? And I'm like thinking in my head, like, I've never faced a problem like that, right? But I bite my nails. Everyone's going through something.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's a problem for them. Not saying that's a problem, but when you're ready to address the issue, I would say, something like hypnosis can be a fresh perspective, because I had tried multiple different types of therapies, talk therapy, CBT, which are the two kind of really most recommended in traditional mainstream therapies. But I think hypnosis actually created more awareness than the other therapies overall, and was actually more applicable, right? Less theoretical, with us being able to go back and kind of even look at how I was feeling like short on breath, and we were going into when I had gotten like dunked underwater and stuff
Right.
like that, and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that's where that came from. And so I would have never found that with the traditional stuff.
Wow. Just thinking about how many people you're helping by saying that. And you're right. It's like if there's anything that you're thinking about a lot, especially when you're not working, it's in those like after work times, first time when you first wake up in the morning, like you think about how much space that's occupying in your mind, and consider that you're not taking action on those things is the thing preventing you from having your next breakthrough with your goals, with your career, your financial goals, your performance. And so, to not actually take that seriously and look at it is a major, there's just an opportunity there to really get to work on that. So thank you for that. And thank you for, being willing to share today. So anyone who would you recommend this for?
I would honestly recommend this for anybody who's looking for a change, right? Anybody who's looking to unpack, I would say things that they just want to understand, gain awareness. I think anybody who's under stress or pressure could definitely benefit from this type of stuff. Anybody who's trying to break a habit, definitely. And then anybody who's tried traditional therapies, right? Like my parents, they're big on therapy. They support it. But when I told them, hey, I want to try this hypnosis thing, they're a little, okay, like tell me more about it. What is hypnosis, right? Because everybody thinks it's like a little pocket watch waving back and forth in front of somebody, and they like pass out and wake up and think they're an alien or something, right?
Right.
That was not it at all. And so for me, even just learning about it was cool. But I was like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. This just makes me different. I'm going to throw my cards down on this and try it. And like I said, it brought up much more practical awareness than the other stuff I've tried.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I'm all about the application. I want to help you produce results. And I saw you expand your leadership, your communication, your confidence that led you to have those breakthrough results in relationship, your personal life. And significant breakthrough with your nail biting, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
And
and
by
at
the
least
way,
the awareness. Go
one
ahead.
thing I think is super important is I didn't do a ton of sessions. You know what I mean?
That's true.
usually you get set up with a therapist, and there's like the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. And it's like, when are we going to get into some business? But that was one thing I genuinely appreciated about working with you. High level of actual work going into the time that we spent together. It wasn't a 6-8 month plan that we had to sit here and leg out to try and make it work. We were knocking these things down like bowling pins. So that was a really big piece of what made it impactful for me as well.
The time savings, and the productivity in a short amount of time. That's important for us, right? We don't got time to waste to just schedule forever out. And testament to you though. You were putting in the work, you learned from each session, you applied it, and you got the results. So congratulations. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
So appreciate it. And if you're experiencing a bad habit like Vimal or anything else that you know that you want to have a breakthrough in, and hypnosis is calling your name, I really invite you to kind of trust that feeling inside yourself and just book the call, contact me.
I believe you have a webinar, right?
I have a webinar every single month. Yep, Healthy Hypnosis Hour. So all of those details. Yep, I have a Facebook page. I've got an Instagram. So I'm all over the social media, and my website is hpwl.co. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll see you for the next episode.
All right.
Bye. If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483.